Okay, now I'm going to tell you what the whole first saga is about. But I should also bring up the history once I do tell you what happens. Basically, it's about Edward Pilaf, who ends up getting these Black Star Dragon Balls. Now, let's think for one moment. I know in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, do you ever heard of these Black Star Dragon Balls? I don't think so. It would have been mentioned if it was, but it wasn't. So it was created specifically for this show. Another thing that pisses me off about this is that there was a wish that was made at the end of Z, which would have brought everyone back. That would mean, with this particular wish, that it only had been the good people. This particular one. So that means every Pilaf and them were excluded. Yet, they're here. What the fuck? And they had a wish, which was to make Goku into a kid again. That's right, he gets to be a kid again. I don't know why they decided to do that. And get this. Unlike our traditional Dragon Balls, which scattered across the earth, and you gotta wait a year, to basically get them again, and cannot kill people during the wish, this one can kill people during the wish. This one's scattered across space, and these can be used as soon as they're finished. But of course, that takes you many, many, many days to cross through space to get them all. So, I have no clue why they decide to do that. And here's the strange thing. These Dragon Balls actually belong to Piccolo, of all people. What the fuck? Really. And I read somewhere that if he wasn't with Kami, then these Dragon Balls wouldn't be put in use at all. I don't know what happened with that at all. I really do not know what happened with that. And so they decided to go in space, and they end up going near Baby and Dr. Mew and all them. But they didn't really approach them until the following season. And here's the history behind it, and I think you're going to be quite surprised about this. In Japan, a lot of people didn't like it, because it was ripping off Dragon Ball right off the top of their heads. And as soon as you know it, that it was so disliked that they were like, okay, on Tsunami, let's skip these episodes and go right into the Baby Saga. Yeah, they actually did that. They actually aired an episode, and it's like, okay, let's screw the first couple, let's make it up in the episode, and pretty much sums it all up, and let's continue off the Baby Saga. Now, they did actually air these episodes back on Tsunami, so you do get to see the whole series there, but not like on Dragon Ball and probably Dragon Ball Z, so it upset me when I found this out, but I'm not quite surprised though, since this was in fact probably the worst anime I have ever seen. Now, the Baby Saga is the next important saga in this whole garbage thing, and wouldn't you be surprised that it basically brought out these mutant machines, which, was an original idea. It was an interesting idea, I will say that, but I prefer the androids more of things. So. With that being said, I really didn't like when you find out that they were actually ripping off the OVA. The first OVA, that was 2 episodes when it came to Baby and Dr. Mew. It was the same thing. Basically, the doctor, you would think he would be creating the machine, this particular machine, and it turns out that machine was actually creating him and all them. And it turned out to be the most powerful one. So it's like, what the shit? And not only that, to make things worse, he was like a little bit of Vegeta, since he did possess a lot of people, including Vegeta, and ended up making his body altered. He was like Freezer, he was like Majin Buu, and yeah, he was just not that good of a villain. He was annoying the 11 fuck out of me. I didn't like him at all. I really didn't like him. And let me just say, it's about to get a whole lot worse. I actually have talked to, back when I had Xbox Live, a group of people about Dragon Ball GT. Not a single person I know of actually likes the show. It's sort of quite surprising, because that reminds me when one of the videos of Mars Girl actually said that no one likes Sonic Underground. Well, there's a reason for that too, and I seen that. That was a horrible, horrible show. So I'm about to bring up exactly how different the Super Saiyan 4 is from the first 3 levels. I will not bring up the in-between portion of the levels, since I'm not too familiar how to describe that. So there's a lot to explain when it comes to Super Saiyan 4, and there is some bullshit that will go on to that case. So let's get into that. Okay, the first difference is that you know what a Super Saiyan looks like, right? The hair is sticking up pretty much. Their energy is becoming from white to pretty much yellow, having viscosity through it, having green eyes, and Super Saiyan 4 is like, okay, you gotta be a full-blooded Saiyan. Makes sense, right? And you would think they would have like blonde fur. You know, the way they have their created from the giants. Okay, you know what the Great Apes are. Basically when a Saiyan with a tail looks into the moon or something bright enough and transforms. What if you become a Super Saiyan, then you become that? That's what the golden ones are. And basically, you have to transform from that to a Super Saiyan 4. Now, you would think you would be pretty much a yellow one, right? You know, your whole body's covered with it, but no. That's not what happens. But you actually get red fur. You get like red eyeliner. You get like true Saiyan eye color rather than green. There's fire instead of just being the energy. What happened to the shirt? Why does the glove look totally different? And that, I'm talking about that from Vegeta. You know, it's what the fuck, really. It makes no sense why it's so different from the other ones. This one specifically has more hair if you count the fur to a Super Saiyan 3. And considering how the show's bringing it up, this one's much more powerful. And they didn't really say how much more powerful. They were like, okay, with a Super Saiyan 3, you couldn't barely do anything to Baby. But tables turned when he turned Super Saiyan 4. So there must be a big power gap with that. There must be. Oh boy. And here's another thing that pisses me off. Baby actually rips off Freezer with a death ball move of his own. Yeah, I'm not kidding. He actually has his own death ball. Why do you have to rip off one of my favorite villains of Dragon Ball Z? You asshole. I mean, come on. Couldn't they come up with something better for that? And not only that, but they actually brought back the plant Tubbles, which actually was Plant Vegeta. So you actually get to see that plant back. And guess what? The Earth gets blown up since they end up using the Blackstar Dragon Balls on that, and the Earth got doomed even faster, and they end up going to this planet. So thanks to Baby, they actually had somewhere to go. But also thanks to them, the Earth got blown up, and they end up having to go there in the first place. It's just pissing me off to no end. Even Baby's death was ripping off something. He got blasted into the sun. Does that remind you of Core when his death ball ended up getting blown onto him and then blown onto the sun? They were killing him. Or when Goku with his two sons, Goten and Gohan, used their command waves and blew Broly right into the sun. I mean, what the fuck? Why couldn't they come up with something more original? It just pisses me off to no end. And they're like, okay, I think I know how this works, but I think I'm gonna do this instead. Oh, come on. You don't have to make it like sound so epic. Make it sound like it's a Dragon Ball. Don't make it sound like it's ripping off of it like a false one. Now we're on the Super 17 saga, and this is ripping off so many things that Dragon Ball has done before. That is just showing you that they don't have that many ideas anymore. And it's just terrible. Flat out terrible. I'm going to try to name every single one that I can think of that it is directly ripping off as much as possible. It's just ridiculous. Why do they keep doing that? Why couldn't it just be original? Like, okay, I think I know how Dragon Ball works, and push it to the right direction. You know, like, why can't you have Akira Takamala to be involved with the project, the author? Assholes. Clearly, the first thing it's ripping off right from the top of your head is Fusion Reborn. Both of them have a similar plot. All the villains come back from hell because of something that happened in hell and stuff like that, and you know, as soon as you know it, they end up getting them all back. Unlike Fusion Reborn, which didn't have that barrier due to that Genova, basically they had to kill them all again, and they would all be back in the afterlife. And so it was an easy to fix problem with that. But I didn't really like how when it came to like the villains in hell, it made no sense what happened. Now it's been clearly stated that if you were go to hell, you would have at least a halo over your head, and you wouldn't have a body, which means a gut, basically a punch to the gut, will knock you straight out. Here they don't have a halo, and they're immortal. What? Where did it ever say they were immortal in hell? Really, when did it ever say that they were immortal in hell?